Hi guys and welcome. You're joining me today to see how I make this dress stroke maxi skirt because it can be either. When I set off making it, it was just going to be a maxi skirt. It was either going to be a maxi skirt or some wide leg trousers, but I decided on the maxi skirt with a deep waistband. Now it didn't occur to me when I was making it that it could also be a dress. And I don't know why not, because sure enough, because it's got that deep waistband, it can easily be a dress, as you can see. The fabric's beautiful. So long as you've got a good understanding of maths, you can make one of these quite easy. So let's get into the video. So I'm just showing you these measurements that I've worked out. I've got 2 meters 3/4, which is equivalent to 112 inch wide by 53.5 inch deep. The waistband was cut at 67 inch wide by 9 inch deep. So the first tier I'm going to do to the same width as the waistband because there's obviously gather in the waistband, so there'll be gather in the top tier. The second tier I'm going to put one width in, so that's going to have some gather onto the top one. And then the third tier I'm going to put 2 widths in, which will be gathered onto the second. So the first and second tier I'm going to cut at 12.5, but I've got a centimetre seam allowance on each side, the top and bottom, and then on the bottom I'm going to cut it at 12 because it's got a scalloped edge, so it won't need hemming on the bottom. So I've already gone ahead and sheared the waistband. I'm not going to cover shearing in this video, but at the end of the video I'm going to put a link to the video where I actually show you how to do shearing. So that's already made up, ready to be attached to the bottom of the skirt. On this fabric here, the first thing I'm going to be cutting is both the scalloped sides off, and I'm going to be cutting them to 12 inch. So I've got my bottom tier, but because I'm wanting that edge on it, that's why I'm going to do these two first. So I'm going to take this to the end of where the bottom of that scallop is, get my finger, and then I'm just going to mark that to 12, and this I'm going to go all the way across this side and the other side. So I'm going to do that off camera just to save time on the video, and then I'll come back. So I've got the dots going all the way across. You can see the blue dots on both sides, so I'm just going to start by just cutting these two out now. Right, I'm going to cut the opposite side up off camera, guys. So that's those two, the bottom tier cut out. So let me just get that so they are facing each other, ready to be joined. Cut that bit off there. And then, like I said, that will be the bottom part of the skirt. Right, so now I need 1.5 cutting from this, and this one's marking to 12.5. So I'm going to mark 12.5, and then I'll mark it 25, and then I'm doing them both in one go. Right, I'm going to mark that there because I've just marked that to 57, which the waistband is. So I'm just going to mark that straight up there. And then I'm just doing 12.5 now because that's the piece that's going to go on the waistband, and that's going to be spare fabric. When I see any of these leaves, I'm pulling them to one side so that I'm not cutting them off. What I've just done, guys, is I've gone to the overlocker. Each piece I've put right sides facing each other. So that's the wrong side of the fabric, right side facing each other. And I've just stitched the end. So now I've got the loop. And I've done that on each tier. So the first one's got one join, the second one's got one join, but the last one has got two joins in it. And I'm going to make the bottom part of the skirt up before it goes onto the waistband. Now what I've just done off camera, guys, and it's just literally on the bottom tier where the two joins are, you can just see there, I've put the overlocking up and then I've just back tacked that in place and then cut the excess off. So that's all neat and tidy on the bottom, on the two seams. So at this moment in time, guys, what I'm going to be doing is the top tier doesn't need gathering on the top because it's the same width as the waistband, but there'll be some gather because it's in the waistband. So I'm going to measure from here, bring some cotton across. Let me just grab it. I'm going to first of all have a piece about 8 inch, 9 inch, it don't really matter, but that's the overhang on the needle. And then I'm going to measure from one side twice. So I've got front and back, but this is for the second tier. Right, so that's my needle and that's my thread for the second tier. I'm going to get that out of the way, and then on the second tier, because this is just one width, I'm going to get the join there. Let me just get a clip. And I'm just where that join is, I'm going to bring that across, keeping them edges together, putting that clip so that I know that that is the halfway mark when it comes to attaching it to the top one. And then I'm going to be doing this right at the top, like I said, and I'm not going to be coming down as far as the seam allowance. It's going to be in seam allowance that actually when it's stitched in. So I'm just working my way across. So that's what I'm going to be doing all the way around at this point. I'm going to put a clip, just find out which is right way on this. Yeah, and this one. So I'll get it the right way up. Let me just have a look at that. 3, yeah, so that's going to be the bottom. So I'm going to put a clip at this end so I've got the half marker for it. So the second tier is all gathered on the top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that inside out. And then where this join is, I'm going to put that together there. So it's right side facing right side, wrong side, wrong side. And then the same on the opposite side, clipping them two clips together because that's the half marker. And then I'm just going to go around clipping that together. And then if you need to just alter your gathering so it's even, but you can just see there, guys, how that fits perfect to that side. Right, so that's the second tier attached to the first. So measuring the cotton for the last tier, this is the second tier at the bottom of the second tier. I'm going to fold that in half again, I'm going to give that a shake so I've got it all flat. Lay that down. And what I need to measure here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces of cotton to do the bottom one. So I'm going to measure one of these, and that's going to be 28. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces of thread to 36 inch, because that's giving me then 8 inch overlap down from the needle. Got the bottom tier, and I just need to put them quarters in. So I've got one join here. I'm going to find the other join, put them together, work my way across here, and then put a clip in the top of there. So I've got 2 quarters on that side. I'm going to do the same for the other side. Joins together, come across and clip that one. So I've got, if you come to that join and that clip, 1, 2, other side, 3, 4, 4 quarters for the 4 pieces of cotton. So I've got even gathers going around it. So I'm going to sit in comfort, guys, while I do this. Right, so I'm going to get the first join, or a clip, whichever I come to. Yeah, I've got a clip there. And then, like I said, I'm just going to start threading that through. Put that clip back on there, so I've not got to root for it later. And then I'm just going to work my way across till I get to the first join. Now, I've just been thinking as well, I could actually wear this as a dress as well as a skirt. Right, so I just reached the first join in. I'm just going to pull that a bit so I've got about 4 inch there, because 4 and 4 is 8. And then I'm going to tie this off. Just going to do that a few times so it don't come undone on me. Cut that off. And then, like I said, that is my first quarter gathered. So I'm going to do that 3 more times to get the full gather in the bottom tier. Right, so what I'm going to do now then, I'm just going to go around this bottom tier, just making sure that the gathers are pretty even in each quarter. Right, so let me just get rid of that tape measure. This is the bottom of the second tier's hem. So what I'm going to do here is mark where the quarters are. As you guys know, I like my quarters. Clip there. Clip there. And 1 clip at this side. So I've got that clipped, and that clipped. So now I'm going to take that join and find one of the joins on here. And then I'm going to clip those together. So it's the top of the bottom tier I'm attaching to the bottom of the second tier. Find that clip and clip those together. Just get this turned around. Right, let me just clip those together. I'm just going to clip this ever so often. Right, I'm going to find the next join to the clip, clip those together, and then once again clipping these together. Right, so I'm ready to stitch round the first tier to the second. Get my glasses on. We're back tack at the start as always. Make sure that it's laying flat underneath. Right, so I'm just going to do the exact same, guys, on the last tier, but I'm going to do it off camera just to save on time. Right, guys, I'm in a position now then where I'm going to be attaching the waistband to the skirt. So I'm going to turn that the wrong way. I'm going to find the side seam there, and I've got the side seam here, so I'm just going to start by clipping those two together. And then I'm just going to start going round, clipping it. Stretching it out so it's the same, you know, skirt and top, same amount of fabric. Okay, right, let's get this stitched on then. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch it with the waistband on top. Yeah, so I'm going to make sure it's flat underneath as I'm stitching it. Edge to edge, and I'm stitching down where I've got this bottom piece here. I'm stitching down the centre of that. Right, let's get it all over, look then. And when I'm doing this, I'm feeling underneath that nothing's sort of turned back on itself that can be stitched in. Right, let me get the second one. And again, I'm stitching it with the gathering on top so that if it's underneath, you've got a chance of catching it in like that, but when it's on top, you can actually see it better, obviously. Right, so let's get this done. But again, underneath, I'm feeling that it's flat. And how am I doing that? Is my fingers are going underneath it. Now I've got to admit guys, I'm loving this as a dress. Now when I first started making it and I got in my mind it's going to be a maxi skirt, which it can be a maxi skirt. I will actually show you in a minute how it looks like a maxi skirt, but I didn't have in my mind that it was a possibility to wear as a dress, but of course it has, because it's got such a deep waistband. The fabric is really, really beautiful. I've got my petticoat underneath, and what that's doing is that's just lining this because it is pretty see-through, and I've got a new bra underneath the bust area, so all areas are covered if you like. Now this is it as a skirt guys. Now what I've done with the top is I've had to tuck it up so it's not covering the waist, because the waist does really come up. So I think to wear it as a skirt I'm going to have to make some crop tops, and I'll do some shade one because then it just sits there and, you know, not be flapping about. Two options: a maxi skirt or a dress. So that's it, how to make one of these guys. It's really, if you understand maths, it's really pretty simple to do, because you just want to try and double the following tier. So your first tier, you've got your 1 loop. Your second tier, you want to aim for 2. Your third, 4. So I hope you've enjoyed this, mate, guys. Like I said, you do need to have a bit of understanding of maths to make something like this, but it's all about working your math out, deciding how long you want it, how many tiers you want, and then dividing your length by the tiers, but then make sure always you add some seam allowance on top of that, because it's not going to end up the length that you wanted it to if you don't get the maths right. It really didn't take a long time to do. It's a bit of faffing, like I say, a lot of people when they were doing gathering would go to the machine, put a big stitch on it and then pull it. But the way I do it, I know that when I put that onto a certain tier, it's going to fit spot on because I've done the math with the cotton. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to give it a thumbs up because that does help me on YouTube. And thanks for watching. Take care for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.